here to this famous institute. I acknowledge the presence of Nick Champion, member of Wakefield, John Dawkins, MLC, Tony Piccolo, member of the Light, Dr. Bruce Eastick, AM, Gawler's Mayor, Brian Sandel, Malala's Mayor, Marcus Strudwick, Gawler Councillors, Diane Fraser, Scott Fraser, Barry Nalon, Adrian Shackley, Paul Kosh, Karen Redmond, and Deputy Mayor David Hughes, and the Town of Gawler CEO, Stephen Kerry. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I thank the Mayor for giving the Gawler welcome, which we also acknowledge that this is Gawler territory. Gawler is South Australia's first country town. In 1880, Gawler was considered to be the most industrialised town in Australia. One observer said 120 years ago, Gawler has more than average pretensions to beauty. Not that that's lovely. And is all more remarkable in this respect because it is chiefly a manufacturing town. Why Gawler and where it is? Well, James Martin said, I found that it was on the road to the Murray, where all of the traffic from New South Wales passed over. It was said that Gawler was the key to the north. Then I found that at Gawler there were two rivers. And having come from a manufacturing district where water is used as power for various mills, I had a great idea of settling where there was running water, so that I could use it for mechanical purposes. Yes, fair enough to me. Undoubtedly it is important that we understand and appreciate how our town has evolved since 1839. Fortunately, many steps have been taken in the past to preserve important parts of Gawler's history spanning the last 170 or so years. Gawler has always displayed a strong sense of community. We have been proud to boast that Gawler is the best town in the country. Yeah. Before our community doubles in size over the next 15 years, surely we should engage this strong community spirit and make our history even more relevant, accessible and exciting. In this very room 12 months ago, thereabouts, a guest speaker said that if you want youth to be interested in Gawler's history, then history needs to be presented in a medium which is used by today's youth. Sounded fair to me. That statement prompted me to galvanise my long-held concerns and beliefs that there were many historical pictures that were stored away in the homes of people, never to be seen again, never to see the light of day, and that worried me. Much historical material was thrown out when people died, and that worried me. As such, historical material needs to be gathered and displayed in such a way that anyone in the world can view it and appreciate it. This posed the question, how do we use modern technology to preserve local knowledge and memories? Accordingly, in September of last year, I was moved to gather together a small group of people known to be passionate about Gawler's history. And approximately 20 of us formed the nucleus of Gawler History Team. Consequently, when forming Gawler History Team, we felt that our decisions, action and planning should embrace modern technology and current social media networks. We felt that it should be organised in such a way that anyone in the world can add their old Gawler photographs, add their facts, add their comments, but we felt that the medium that we choose should also embrace current history. We should not overlook the fact that the pictures and facts relative to 2012 will be a history source for anyone in 50 to 100 years' time. So we're not just going back 170 years, we're creating it from today as well. So we had heard of the great work done in the previous 2 years by Darren Peacock of Sweet Technology in his creation of the Malala Now and Then Wiki. So we went to Malala generations, we were so impressed that we decided to embrace this now and then format created by Darren. With his work to develop Gawler's Wiki, Darren has been bombarded with many new challenges, and we thank him for his effort and patience. Darren, please stand. Since last September, life has been fairly busy. But I've always wanted this project, which is ongoing, to be a fun project. On the leaflet before you, we have listed all of our financial members, and I ask that all of the members of the Gawler history team who are here today, please stand. You may care to thank them for what they've achieved so far. So when you see them down the street doing their shopping, take them on the shoulder, have a chat, and offer to them some great photos. Among the best advice that I have been given was to encourage Nicole Stamachi to join the team. Ladies and gentlemen, Nicole has put her heart and soul into this project, and without her, we would be Titanic Gawler. Nicole's expertise, infinite patience in dealing with us oldies, her even temperament, her winning smile, and welcoming and cooperative nature has been a joy to experience. Please come forward. Would you please accept these flowers as a token of our respect and admiration. We thank our first year advertising sponsors, Taylor and Corby, Riddell, Potker and Richardson, Chemmart, H.D. Humphreys, Federal Electrical, Reardon Jewellers, David Ragless Financials, AMP, the Southern Hotel, Cheese Apples, the Gawler Arms and Remac Motors. What you will see today is possibly only 1/10 of 1% of what will ultimately develop as is now in the Wiki. Alongside of the Wiki, we've got a thing called Flickr, and it's got about 3,000 photographs already in there in sets, which have got to be transferred over. So there's a lot of work to be done. So I believe that while our team has taken small steps, I believe they are a sound platform that can be added to by anyone, yet they've got sensible controls in place. We can actually work out what has been added to the Wiki, and if we don't like it, we can take it off. So that hopefully will reassure you. So we encourage and challenge our youth to be excited and informed about Gawler's history, but at the other end of the spectrum, even those in aged care homes can be encouraged to wander through the Wiki site and contribute to it before valuable recollections are lost forever. Gawler's history team is now an incorporated body with proper insurance in place, and we meet on the first Thursday evening of every month in the St George's Anglican Hall in Cowan Street, 7:15. We go through to about 9:30, so it's not a late night. We would welcome you to come and join us to build on this exciting project. Talk to us before you leave today. So it now gives me very great pleasure to ask Dr. Bruce Easton, AM, to address us and now officially launch the Gawler Now and Then Wiki site. Thank you, Dr. Easton.
Thank you, Councillor Tom, Your Worship, and other invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed both a pleasure and a privilege to be invited to take part in this quite historic activity. What is history? As Dean Jench has pointed out earlier this afternoon, History is a record of those things which have gone into the past. Some of it is in writing, some of it is in photographic form, and so with your own imaginations you can determine what is history. What's history insofar as Gawler is concerned? We go back to the proclamation for South Australia, the activities of the councils of the Parliament, all of the records that have been produced. We look at the books that have been produced in respect of Gawler, Lawyer, Coombe, Whitelock, and there's another one that's in the realm somewhere by the late Les Ellis that provided some background information relative to what took place in Gawler. But what have we got here? Not only have we got that recorded history, we've found somebody who quite recently picked up an acorn. That person was Brian Tom. He planted a seed, and with the help of other volunteers, that seed has started to grow, and it will continue to grow, and it will provide further historical records recognised by people who come in the future for many years to come. Without the help of those other volunteers and others who will be required to take part in the years to come, the project, which has already found some 3,500 photographs, if you take the population of Gawler, the houses of Gawler, some 4,000, 4,500, get all of them to produce one photograph. There's 7,500. They produce two. Think of the work which is ahead. It's quite tremendous. But there's one very important aspect, a failing which affects all of us so far as our families are concerned. It's certainly been identified in relation to this work with Wiki. If only mum or dad or grandpa or grandma had written on the back of the photograph who was involved, what the occasion was, how important it was for that historical record to be produced. So what we're looking for here is a continuation of input by the community, by not only the volunteers, but all the volunteers, to take the opportunity as opportunity permits to identify as much as possible of the work that is in those photographs. It's important that at this particular time we recognise that today we're moving on to one further means of the creation or the retention of history. It was the verbal comment, it was the written word, it was the photographs. Now it's the technology which has been a significant part of this program that gives me very great pleasure to declare the Gawler Wiki program in existence.
Thank you, Dr. Restig. Dr. Restig's words actually need to be reflected on us as well as those that have gone before us, because we each have a responsibility to the history, and it's our photos and our children's photos that also need those notations made on the back for the future. I'd like now to invite Darren Peacock from Sweet Technology to say a few words and explain how it all works.
It's not the best way to demonstrate a website. big hall like this, but we do have some computers set up at the back of the room to use later on. So hopefully I'll give you a bit of an introduction to what's on the Wiki, what it does and how it works. And then you can go and try it at the back of the hall or when you get home. When you say the word Wiki, some people nod their heads and say, oh yes, Wikipedia. Some people shake their heads and say, oh no, WikiLeaks. About that, more weird. Others just say, what's a wiki? So what's a wiki and why would Gawler want one? We've just heard some of the reasons why. As Dean Gench was saying, the 18 to 34-year-old age group is not engaged by a lot of the media that we use. And if you want to engage them, you need to be in the digital medium. So that's one of the key ways we can bridge, if you like, past to present by using digital media. So wikis come in all different shapes and sizes. The most famous of them all is Wikipedia. Who uses Wikipedia? Hands up. Yep. You and millions of people like you use Wikipedia every day. In 10 years, it's proven itself to be the largest reference source in the world. And it's really this model that we're using here with Now and Then. Now and Then is, if you like, a local Wikipedia. So it's really about how you can show and tell the stories of Gawler, about the people, the places and the events that really make up your history. But tell it in a way which invites everyone to contribute. The key thing about a wiki is it's a shared, collaborative authoring environment. So it's really about how you can work together to create and share history. If you like, put the annotations back on the photographs, because they often get disconnected, and share your memories with other people. So I'm just going to do a quick demonstration. Okay, now it's not the best way to see this. Down the back, can you see that okay? Probably not. Hands up, you can? Yeah, okay, all right. As I say, I encourage you to go and see it for real. Basically, what a wiki is a collection of articles or stories. Now, in this wiki, we've divided them into different groups. You can see, oh, okay, that's, yeah, these demonstrations are always interesting. Go back to plan A. Okay. That's better. Okay. So you can't read it, but on the top left, there are categories which we call people, places, events, organisations, and things. And all of your articles will fall into one of those categories. And what this homepage does is gives you a multiple choice of ways into those articles. You can go through that list. You can look on a map. Hopefully you all recognise this view of Gawler. That what we have on the map are pins that represent different stories in the wiki. One of the key things that you can do in the wiki is, if you like, create yourself an account to create articles and edit articles that are in there. This video just shows you the process of signing up. No, it doesn't. Okay. It's performing with technology, children and animals is never good. The other way you can actually find articles on the wiki is by looking through a search function. You're probably all familiar with that. You can put a search term in there as well to find something if you know it's there. Other ways of searching include looking at what's new. There's a list of new articles, so you can see the latest things that have been added, and I can see someone's added something this morning, so you can come back quite regularly and see when something new has been added. There are also ways in which you can actually get an email notification when new things are added as well. There's lots of ways to stay in touch with what's happening. Now, what does an article look like? That's what an article looks like. I'm not sure if you can read that very well either. Basically, think of it like an encyclopedia entry. This is one that's been written about Dead Man's Past, which I'm sure you all know. And what it has is about 200 to 300 words, which, if you like, tell the story. But it's also connected to a map. So you can see where this place is. It also links to a number of photographs that are in the Flickr account. So the Flickr account that Brian mentioned is, if you like, your photo album. So all those photos sitting in there can be brought into your Wiki article. So there are quite a few of this place in the article already. Now the key thing about a wiki is, as I said, that it can allow other people to edit these entries. So the idea is that you're building collaborative knowledge. So over time, you can all contribute what you know about Dead Man's Past in this example. So someone starts the article, puts the pieces together that they have, and then it's really open to all of you as potential authors to add things. So you could go in and, for argument's sake, you could go and correct an error. If there's an error in there, you could go and add some more information. Or what we have here down below is what we call a memory section. So you can add a memory to that. Down below, at the bottom of the article, there is a memory section. So what we're asking for there is not so much the facts, but maybe just your memories. So the article, being like an encyclopedia, relies on people putting factual information in that can be verified through other sources. But the memory section is really where you can actually talk about something that's just one of your own personal memories about a place, a person, an event, an organisation, or a thing. I mentioned Flickr before, and Flickr is, as Brian said, the place where all the photographs are being collected. What you can see here with Dead Man's Past is that you already have dozens of photographs about Dead Man's Past. So you're building a fantastic library here of everyone's photographs about that place, and there's some description there as well. Now, I could spend a long time showing you all the things you can do. There's a lot you can do. The website also has a whole range of other features as well, including linking to a blog. At the moment, we've got one blog which is about local sports. Robert Laidlaw, who's here somewhere, is our guest. Down at the back there is our guest blogger, and so he's writing weekly sports news about local sport. So you can get those results on the wiki as well. And we also have a number of things where we're featuring, if you like, different stories from the wiki and asking you to tell us more about what's actually in a particular photograph, or if there's something that you can tell us about a particular story. So, just learning. Another thing I didn't mention is that we also can include video in the articles as well. So, like the Flickr account for photographs, we can include video. So you'll have, for this article about the church, a video link here. And so, in terms of embarrassing people, we can playing the bells in St George's. So, I can make that full screen as well. So the point here is that anything that you've got about a particular place, a photograph, a memory, a story, a video, I think it's a fine performance myself. Yes, we could have sound. So really, it's a multimedia experience we're creating here. We're really trying to make sure that people can really share all the different things that they have and they know about particular things. As I said on the homepage, you can obviously share using all the social media tools. We've got places there for you to share on Facebook or Twitter if you use those social media, which is really where the 18 to 34-year-olds are. If you're wondering where they are, that's where they are, and that's where we need to be able to get this material out through those social networks. And then we have, as I said, some of the material from the wiki where we're actually putting up questions on the wiki. Can you help tell this story? So maybe there's a photograph, and we've got some questions here we're inviting people to respond by email with as well. And in the second column there, upcoming events is where there'll be an events calendar. So as Brian said, what we're doing is linking the now with the then. We're showing that history lives within the context of the now as well. Down the side, on the right, we also have a number of links to other blogs. So we're bringing in other news from other places as well, including headlines from your local newspapers. So that's kind of the story, I think. I will wrap up now and hand back to Brian. And I think the best way to do questions would be if people want to come up afterwards and talk to us. As I said, we'll have the wiki up to demonstrate, and I would encourage you to go and have a look. The address is on your piece of paper, and to join up and to start contributing to the wiki. Thank you.
Thank you, Darren. What we're going to do now is we've got computers up the back, and for the next 30 minutes, you can look over the shoulder of Gawler History Team members who've got their computers there, or you can come here and look up here, and we can play around with it here as well. Any questions, just ask them. I mean, Darren's here, and Nicole knows almost as much as Darren, if not more. So we're just going to have this as a general kind of ask question area, but on a one-to-one sort of basis, rather than having hands up with questions, because otherwise it could get too mucky. At this time, let's say that 3:20 we'll finish with the half an hour of kind of looking at screens, and we'll try and wrap up by 3:30. If there are questions that are felt that should be answered while everyone is here, well, that's fine, we'll work without that 3:20. So we're now going to have this interlude of 30 minutes where you can come up here and look at this, or go to the back and look at the four computer screens at the back. So those who obviously care to move off, it would be remiss of me if I didn't thank everyone for coming. We're delighted with the turnout today. And please give the team your support. If you've got specific questions, you can always email them to gawlerhistory@yahoo.com. You've got it on the leaflet. Just ask specific questions and you'll get them answered. So we'll just have now a break for 30 minutes and hope you get enlightened in this 30-minute period. Thank you.